Good afternoon, happy Saturday. Welcome to my periodic walk to Marks and Spencer to buy some food. Today, Crystal has been in Kingston this morning and I've been honestly doing nothing. So it was important that I left the flat at this point. Smell the fresh air and breathe. I don't know what we're going to be up to this weekend. We need to make a decision on that. It's quite possible that there'll be nothing whatsoever, but I think I need to be outside a bit more.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
Good news. I've made a rhubarb crumble and it's amazing. I mean, it's not good news for you, but it is good news for me because I'm going to eat it. More good news, I've remembered what we're doing tomorrow, what we hope to do tomorrow, is go to Ham Open Gardens and nose around some other people's gardens for a bit, hoping the weather is a bit sunnier and a bit less grey. But still, as long as it's dry, it should be quite fun. Goose walk. They're clearly on an outing because they're going for it a bit. Anyway, I'm just going to do a little loop of queue, stretch my legs and make the most of the fact that the gardens are a little bit empty now. There was about 500 people coming out of the gardens when I got in. So it must have been insane today. The children's garden opened and that probably sent it into insanity. But come 5:30, I bet it's quite empty. We are in Ham. And this is the start/end, depending which way round you go, of Ham Open Gardens. Which is what we're going to attempt to do. We're going to have a look around 13, 14, 15 and 16 first.
I was thinking about the but it's much more work. Yes. Anyway, thank you.
So we've now come down to number 11 and 12. This is 11. Water features. Very contemporary house. And a lovely, peaceful garden. If it weren't for all of the people, strangers, traipsing through it, it'd be very nice. Apart from the owl, which is obviously excellent, there's obviously quite a lot of very bright furniture, which is quite interesting. Because the house is kind of quite sort of modern, 70s, 80s construction. Have a lovely alliums and roses. Oh, there are hydrangeas out the front that aren't out yet. Silver birch. These are the Gatehouse Gardens, what would have been Ham Gatehouse. And we're just heading down here to the Castle Hospital Gardens. So this is the back of the hospital. We're in their massive garden. I mean, it's almost a park, frankly. They've got a wilderness area around there. You can do like a full lap of the wilderness. And they've got some rhododendrons through here. They've got a playground over there. It's quite... It feels more like you've wandered onto a common than it does you've gone into somebody's garden. This is Flax Cottage on Ham Common. I would try and show you the map, but I can't hold it properly. Ta-da, number 8. We're approaching the saxophone quartet slowly. I'm dropping my paperwork everywhere I go. Thank you. Yes, this is a really nice little winding garden.
I know.
Yeah, it's a lovely garden. You've got the apple trees down this end and just all the vegetable garden at the very back. It's a little bit of wilderness before the pond, just here with the fake heron, and then the house itself at the end. Amazing. And this is number 7, the little house. It's got an L-shaped garden, which is quite interesting, around what appears to be the garage. They've got a lot of palms and old, really old plants that are like this gnarly old trunk. Palms in the barn centre and a very old olive tree.
Right, okay. So you would go, yes, this is Lucinda's garden. And it's great.
It's got a sort of tropical vibe, hasn't it? The little summer house and the pool and the tiki bar. Oh, it looks like a little tiki house. It's lovely. Good morning, it's Monday. It's actually a very nice day, much nicer than I thought it was going to be. Might go and fly a drone, might go and eat some sushi, might do both of those things. Waiting on a call today at some point about work on Wednesday and Thursday. But in the meantime, going to get some fresh air and enjoy late spring. Hi there, I'm back for lunch, back from lunch even. And I brought with me kimchi because you never know when you might need kimchi. Actually I do. Tomorrow I've just passed a Labour Party volunteer putting European election leaflets through the door. Truly the most pitiful thing I think I've witnessed. That said, I haven't seen the Conservative Party volunteer, singular. I mean, the Labour Party doesn't even have a position. It's just laughable. The only reason you'd vote Labour realistically in these elections is because you want Brexit to happen, but you're not right wing. That is the only subsect that could make any sense at all. Also, being a member of the Labour Party in this constituency, it must be truly one of the most miserable experiences ever. I mean, you just basically don't exist. So let's have a little run through on where England, in particular's political parties, stand on Brexit and whether you should vote for them on Thursday. So, you kind of want Brexit to happen, but you don't really care how, and you're not really fussed about the details and you just want it to be over. Vote Conservative. You kind of want Brexit to happen, but you hate the Conservative Party, you hate the right wing. Vote Labour. You categorically do not want Brexit to happen and you're pretty left-wing. Vote Green Party. You categorically don't want Brexit to happen and you do not identify with any wings at all. Vote Lib Dem. And then you absolutely do want Brexit to happen and you don't care about the consequences or anybody involved, and you don't mind that your MEPs will most likely defect or be sacked. Vote UKIP/Brexit, which is basically the same party but with different branding. Side note 1, the UKIP and the Brexit party hate each other for no real reasons except, as I can understand, other than it's two parties just stuffed with egos and no policies, and there isn't enough room for as many egos as there are. Side note number 2, you categorically do not want Brexit to happen and you're a nationalist in Wales or Scotland. You should vote Plaid or SNP accordingly. Northern Ireland obviously has its own set of parties, but broadly speaking the Unionists support Brexit but not Theresa May's Brexit. The Republicans obviously don't because they'd like Ireland to be united, and Alliance definitely don't, although they are quite happy for Northern Ireland to determine its own future. I realise that's an incredibly brief summary and I realise that that's a great oversimplification of the situation, but that's broadly true, and there will be exceptions in every party. But don't bother screaming at me, but the Labour Party's against Brexit. Well, it simply isn't. Members of the Labour Party are, but the party as a whole, led by Mr Corbyn, not so much. They refuse to say categorically where they stand on the matter, and inaction will result in Brexit, so broadly they're supporting it. And the Conservative Party, I mean, they just want weird Theresa May Brexit, which nobody understands, and neither people who want to leave and people who don't really want it either. I suppose in some senses it is the ultimate compromise because everybody hates it, but I mean, so many people hate it that it'll never happen in that form, so it's ultimately pointless. So there we go, there is the European election roundup. We're one of the first countries to vote, and then there's 4 days of voting, so I don't know when we'll actually find out the results, but it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so probably sometime next week. Noon. Welcome to the latest instalment of how far Toby will go to get outside of Class D airspace. Here we are in Twyford, and for those of you thinking where's Twyford, which is probably pretty much everyone watching, Twyford is just east of Reading, and it is beyond the boundary of Heathrow on the other side, which kind of the westernmost boundary of Heathrow airspace, Class D airspace, is kind of Maidenhead, which is further east still, next town along actually. So we've come here because we can wander into the countryside and hopefully we can go for a little fly. That's the plan. Plus, I mean, it's quite picturesque, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's not bad. So no regrets from my end, at least. And my phone works this week, so that's nice. It's because it's a new phone. So there's a lot of lakes around here because, and also I should say, it is a nature reserve. Now, one of the things you learn when learning how to fly a drone is don't fly over large populations of birds, which is very sensible, and I will not be, so we'll be getting a bit further away from this here nature reserve before we go into the air. I've got a horse friend. Hello, horse friend. I don't know your name. I'm going to call you Horse. It's very nice of you to follow me, but I'm going down that path and you're going to run out of field. So, nice to meet you. Hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye. Yeah, I figured that might happen. Anyway, this is a little farm with more lakes. It's very pretty, as you can see. We're going to carry on and we're going to go over the bridge. Bye, chap. See you later. Just for the record, this is an amazing house. This is Wisley Bridge House, and it's stunning. And it's an amazing setting, and it's on the bridge, hence the name. And it has lovely gardens either side of the river, so that's quite impressive, isn't it? nice. It's beautiful around here. I have noticed a few slightly lower light aircraft. I'm going to have to, well, I've stopped. I'm going to have to reassess in another location because we don't want to be interfering with aircraft traffic, despite the fact it says there is none. We'll just have to have a look at flight radar and see what's out there. Oh man, look at that. It's a field of wheat. It's lovely. More crops. Not sure this one is. It's not very developed at the moment. There's a beautiful field. One of the reasons I came out today to do a bit of a drone walk was that for the next 2 days I'm going to be indoors for about 12 hours filming a medical data conference, which is going to be, well, it's probably going to be fine, but it's not going to be interesting. And it starts tomorrow at some ungodly hour, so I am deliberately trying to build up my fresh air intake, my green space enjoyment, so I can sort of bank it for the next couple of days. And this walk has been excellent, to be honest. It's beautiful, really beautiful. Well, that was fun. You should have seen the vineyard there. Stanlake Manor, which is just over the outside the road. And then these beautiful ponies that are quite young. I just met one of the lads whose uncle breeds them. So, yeah, lovely little troop of white ponies. Right, I'm going to wind my way back slowly towards the station because it's veggie day today and we were going to have soup, but I went and had a look in the fridge and there isn't enough soup, so I'm either going to have to make some more soup or buy something else, but either way that involves cooking, so I need to go home and actually do that. Good morning, it is 7 a.m. and I'm off to work, which feels a bit like commuting if I'm honest. I shouldn't complain though, because the original call time was 6:30 and I would have had to have been up at 5 o'clock to make that work. Fun side note, I was up at 5 o'clock because the original call time wasn't changed till after I'd gone to sleep. So, yay. Another conference. Lots of people wandering around, but more importantly, as all conferences, a small selection of cakes. It's weird being in the city on a weekday in the evening and there's people about. I mean, they're not in this shop, but there's lots of people behind me. You know, they're all going about their lives. Going to the pub, going to restaurants and whatnot. It's bustling, frankly. And it seems quite a nice part of town, but it does take an hour and a bit to get home, so that's not great. 9 hours later, back on the same street, going in the other direction. Which is alarming because it's more than an hour's journey home. Long and the short of it is, I've had about 6 hours sleep. I'm absolutely exhausted. But I'll be done tonight by about 7. And then I've got to take all the kit back to Neil's office. And then I've got to go back to Kew and vote. And then I'm going to sleep pretty much until lunchtime the following day. This is the office for the day. Just setting up for lunch. We're behind this very exciting looking screen. And the main conference is in Broadgate. And there's a little more in that room there. And guys have been filming in that room for a while. Tammy's been editing for a couple of hours. Just waiting for the next bit where the rooms get split in two and then there's a load of breakout sessions this afternoon. This is the other side of the building. Essentially, one side's on the main road and this is a walkway down the other side. But interestingly, as we board a Liverpool Street station, you might be able to see trains. Just doing a bit of a mid-session walk. I am so tired, it is unreal. It's really hit me. It's just like coming up to 3:30 and I am dying. But this is nice, isn't it? Look at that massive fat Buddha thing. That's cool. And there's sunshine out there. It is 8:20 and I've made it just in time to go and vote. Yay. So nice not to be indoors at a conference today. The last 48 hours were actually exhausting. I don't think I fully appreciated how exhausting until I got home yesterday and I was just done. Totally done. So today it's going to be much more chilled. It's a Friday, that helps. And there's a long weekend coming, that helps. And the weather's good, and that helps. But I need to eat lunch. I bought a sandwich. Interestingly, my sandwich is an LGBT sandwich, which is, as it says, lettuce, guacamole, bacon and tomato, but also some of the proceeds from this go to helping LGBT charities, which is excellent. My only disappointment is that they couldn't do an LGBTQ plus sandwich, because you could put some quinoa in there, that's a Q, isn't it? And added some vitamins, and there's your plus. It's all great. But you know, this is a step in the right direction. Just to make a quick comment on it, because it's historically important, although honestly I don't give a shit. The Prime Minister has resigned. Or rather, she will on the 7th of June. She's been a terrible Prime Minister. Arguably, in other circumstances, she might not have been so terrible, but in the circumstances of trying to negotiate a withdrawal with EU, she's been disastrous. Her speech was filled with platitudes. She talked about compromise but didn't do any. She's just been awful, like complete lack of ability to negotiate both with her own country and the countries around her. the reason that we're in a political crisis is largely due to the government, and I have no sympathy with her whatsoever. All of the things that came to pass were pretty inevitable. I know people always say that after the event, but they were pretty obvious to me at least. And if she'd framed the argument better at the beginning about what was possible, she wouldn't be in this huge horrible mess. So she's gone. Next one will probably be worse. Whatever. I'm on my way somewhere much more exciting, and it's a nice day for a walk. So I'm going to walk the whole way because of the lack of time I've spent outdoors in the last 48 hours. This is really rather important. And if I see anything interesting, I'll show you. Otherwise, I'll speak to you in a bit. Well, there is a lot of deer up here. He seems quite intrigued. And there's a load feeding over there as well. Usually best to keep your eye on them, just in case they're feeling a bit frisky. Apart from this guy who seems genuinely startled, they seem pretty much fine. He seems a bit startled. You must have seen a human before, guys. We're in there all the time. Here, you. No, he's had enough. No, he hasn't. It is nice up here. It's really nice. The sun's got in, so it's not super hot, which is helpful when you're walking. I'm about halfway through the park, so that didn't take as long as I thought. Right, penultimate bit of business. It's time for the word of the week, because it is Friday, although it doesn't feel like it. It definitely is. So this week's word of the week is going to be news. The news. So first of all, in German, the news is die Nachrichten. Die Nachrichten. That is the news in German. And in Italian, it is le notizie. Le notizie. That is news in Italian. So there we go. That was news in German and Italian. And that was this week's word of the week. Yesterday we were at Kingston Hospital having our 13-week scan. Now, I'll let that sink in for a bit, because I don't think I've said that out loud yet. And this is the first time I think I have mentioned, it is the first time I know that I've mentioned on this vlog, that Crystal is pregnant and we are expecting a little one at about the 8th of October. And it feels very weird to say it to this camera. It makes it sort of very, very tangible. Yesterday was the first experience where it went from being an idea that probably will happen to much more of a reality. And if you go back and watch the vlog from the 1st of April, it might make a bit more sense, I don't know. Anyway, it's very exciting. And everything that I kind of now do and plan and think about is framed differently, and it's cool. I mean, it's very cool. This is the exciting bit, the fun bit with no real pressures as yet. I'm sure not every day will be sunshine and rainbows, but at this point you just have to appreciate the pleasures that you get from life. So this is one of them, and that's the main reason I'm recording this, is just to remember this moment more than anything else. Today is April the 8th, so by current calculations that means our new edition will arrive in 6 months today, which which is, every time I say it out loud, it's a lot more alarming than just thinking it. 6 months is a reasonable amount of time, but it's not a lifetime by any stretch. And yes, we haven't done a lot beyond talking about it and like how things might work and ideas for names, all very casual stuff. Haven't actually rearranged the flat in any sense or bought any things. But again, we are thinking about it. And at some point soon we'll have to actually start the preparation process a bit more earnestly, which will involve converting what's now the TV room into baby's room and moving a few things around, getting a new car, buying a crib, buying various, of the less exciting things like, nappies and changing stations and wipes and bags, all sorts. The practical stuff, the important things. And then also need to think about the less practical things, the fun things like, first pair of shoes, and actually Lynn's got that covered. Just thinking about buying a few outfits and that kind of stuff. So it's becoming more real with every day that passes, but it still feels a little intangible to me because I'm not carrying it. So it probably feels much more real to Crystal at this point. So next steps, 20-week scan where we can find gender, and before that 16-week scan, blood tests and what have you. But as yet there is nothing new to report other than my thoughts. So we just had our 16-week midwife appointment, which is why I'm carrying a baby folder home. In between these appointments, which are monthly really in some form, you really don't know what's going on. It is a very weird feeling. You're just kind of like assured that everything's kind of fine, and you're just like, so as soon as you come out of that appointment, you're like, you feel confident again, everything's great, just listen to the heartbeat, wonderful, and then the next 4 weeks will pass and the sort of fears and unknowns will creep back in until you have another appointment, and then it's sort of all put to bed again. So that was good. That was a very satisfactory appointment. Nothing unusual. Everything very healthy. So the next appointment we have formally is the 20-week scan, which is when we find out the gender of this little rascal. Or at least they try to, depending on cooperation from aforementioned rascal. So when we found out that Crystal was pregnant, the first thing that we said was, isn't it weird how we don't know anyone else that's pregnant at the same time? Like, we know so many people, and most of them, on Crystal's side at least, have kids, or have been having kids very recently, and no one was pregnant. And we thought, well, that's weird, isn't it? It's strange, like we missed the window. But since then, I found out very quickly that Joe, who I did the Americas trip with, his wife is pregnant and due in August. And then we found out almost at the same time we had our first scan that my sister-in-law, so Alex's wife's sister, is also pregnant and due 2 weeks after us. And then when we went out and met up with Simon and Anshin, we found out that Anshin was pregnant and due a couple of weeks after us. And I've just met up with Adam, and Corinne is pregnant and she's due in September. So it's one of those things though, when you start looking for it, it's everywhere. And it's good, it's nice, and because it's just nice news anyway, but it's nice to have people you know in a similar situation, because it is quite a life-changing moments, and it's nice to have people to talk to about it. So the thing about looking around nursery sections and shops is, before you go in you say, I don't need any of this stuff, because I have, you know, a small chest of drawers, and you can just do the baby changing thing on a mat on the floor, and you don't need a special bed. And then you come in here and you're like, oh, they're all actually quite good. But then you see the pricing and you're like, what? £550 for a small wardrobe? That's ridiculous. And I can see how you get sucked in. But similarly, you look at that and you think, I can buy a wardrobe and I can just put some soft panelling around the top, and voila, I've done it myself. And it wouldn't have cost me 315 or 250 quid for the dresser. So, you know, it's inspiration, maybe, to avoid spending the rest of the money. So it is Thursday, and yesterday I spent a lot of time doing baby related things, like looking up good baby monitors on Which, and video reviews of them and what have you, and buying storage for under the bed, clearing things out, starting to think about how the TV room is going to become baby's bedroom. These are strange and new problems, but they're all quite exciting. The weekend we went shopping and we bought Ollie the owl, which is this kind of strange owl-shaped soothing device that sings lullabies and generally placates babies. So that's just been the week so far. More adventures await, I'm sure. So in just over 24 hours time we find out the gender of the child that we're going to be welcoming in October, and that is quite hard to fathom, but it is both the halfway mark and the point where it stops going from an idea and you're like, maybe this, maybe that, and becomes something fathomable, I believe. So I'm very much looking forward to it, but it is also completely crazy at the same time. And as I've been repeating to everybody, I don't have a feeling one way or the other, and I don't have a preference, but I do want to know so we can make decisions about names and, you know, clothing further on, and so we can actually start to really sort of feel who this person is that we're going to meet. So it's very exciting. So I'm on my way to Kingston Hospital because it's time for the second ultrasound or sonogram, depending on which part of the world you're from. And today we find out baby gender, which is both amazing and terrifying. And I don't know why it's always so scary, but it's because you don't really know what's going on in there when you can't see, and this is the only time you get to see. And I think that's where the fear comes from, but it's also very exciting, and I'm very much looking forward to finding out the answer.